It's week 19, super wildcard week in the NFL, and we're going to break down on FanDuel the main slate that runs from Saturday all the way to Monday. We'll be analyzing all 6 games to come up with a cash lineup. We're also going to tell you, in recognition of Subscriber Appreciation Week, how you can enter a free contest to win $50. It's all coming up next. Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Lee.
And I'm Michael Wiley, and we're the Fantasy Football Consultants. Eric, this is such a fun time of year. We get a chance. This is Subscriber Week, Subscriber Appreciation Week, so we get a chance to kind of give back. And so with that, we just did an extra show, brought on a special guest, and we broke down the playoff games this weekend for this wild card weekend, super wild card weekend. And also, as a special bonus, talked once again about what we think is going to shape up for the Super Bowl. So check that out. The link should be right there on your screen. Eric, back to you.
Yeah, and also we broke down from the Saturday to Monday slate for DraftKings. Both videos, the video I discussed and Michael discussed, the link will be in the description. But today it's all about FanDuel. And we're going to prepare a cash lineup. And Michael, the guy that I really am targeting this week is Austin Ekeler. I think Austin Ekeler may be in the perfect situation playing in good weather at Jacksonville. What really makes Austin Ekeler special is his involvement in the pass game. So what makes him unique is the Chargers absolutely scheme screen passes to him. It's not just ad hoc, and they're always easy passes, which means 2 things. 1, he's going to have a very high catch percentage. And 2, he's usually going to get a decent amount of yards after the catch, besides the fact that he has 18 touchdowns. So he's heavily involved around the goal line.
Yeah, no, I think, Ekeler and McCaffrey are really the 2 highest potential point scorers this week, including because of the matchups that they have. And let's talk about McCaffrey for just a second. He's $800 more, and Elijah Mitchell is back. And I think, yes, this is going to be a wet game. It's going to bode well for the running game because Seattle is not great against the run. And McCaffrey obviously is the guy and had been the guy down around the goal line. But Elijah Mitchell, as we saw this last week, he swoops some of those goal line carries. And I think that the Niners are really thankful to have him back because they like to pound their running backs. And I think it's a little bit uncomfortable pounding McCaffrey over and over again. I think Mitchell's going to get that. And that's a little bit of a preview. I really want to attack the run defense of Seattle this week. No offense to your team, Eric. And I think the way to do it in an affordable way after spending what we did on Ekeler and what we want to do at the wide receiver position is to go with Elijah Mitchell. So he's quite a bit less expensive, partly because he just came back. He only carried the ball 5 times last week, but he had 55 yards rushing and did get in the end zone twice. I think this is a huge benefit to the Niners and will be a big part of their success through the playoffs. He's healthy. He looked good. I think it makes sense to give him the ball in short yardage and situations where you want to pound it, which it could include around the goal line. Fantasy is not in the minds of the coaches. What's in the mind of the coaches is winning ball games. And I think that's a smart usage of Mitchell, and that's what Shanahan will do.
Yeah, I hear you, Michael, and I agree with you. I know some people are shaking their heads. Elijah Mitchell, how can you go with him? Well, in addition to all the reasons that Michael just told you, keep in mind that Christian McCaffrey is banged up a little bit. He missed a couple of practices. Do I think he's not going to play? Of course he's going to play. It's a playoff game. But I do think that they're going to have no problems spelling him. And let's not forget that not only are the Niners at home, not only are the Niners huge 9-point favorites, but they're not good against the rush. So I think Elijah Mitchell is going to get some opportunities, and I think he will make the most of it. And then finally, $5,500, folks.
Yeah. which was the number one reason, and it's because of what we want to do at the wide receiver spot as well. And so let's go there. And you see right there at the top being Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, obviously two guys who can really go off. But you know who else can do that? And I think is really inspired right now. I'm going to play inspirational football is Stephon Diggs. Miami's defensive backfield has not been strong. Diggs was a little bit quiet for a few weeks, which was actually not too bad for being really healthy going into the playoffs. He had a good week last week. You saw what he did earlier in the season. He is the number one target and will always be Allen's favorite go-to guy. I think he's going to play inspirational football during these playoffs. Watch for him to do some special stuff, like that he's a little bit less expensive than Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, who does have to share a little bit with T. Higgins. This is the week to get Diggs on your roster for sure.
Yeah, don't forget that they are 27 implied total. So Las Vegas thinks they're going to score. And as Michael said, they do much better against the run than the pass. So it'll be in the air. Hard to imagine that Diggs won't be a very big part of that. And he's such a talented wide receiver and can get you a lot of air yards with the deep threat.
Yeah, and I don't mind going with Jamar Chase. He's $100 more, and I think it's going to similarly be a big part of this week's output. But I do think that that game is going to be a lower scoring game as well. I think that we needed the $100, right? So let's move on to our next pick, which is another star receiver for his team, CeeDee Lamb, going up against Tampa Bay's really poor pass defense. I do think, and I alluded to this if you saw our playoff prediction show, that Dallas is going to go to the run, but they have to open up the run. And the safe bet for that is to get the ball to CeeDee Lamb. Look at the targets he's had all season long. Even when Dak Prescott has been struggling a little bit, he's gone to CeeDee Lamb. I really think this guy's a special talent. I'm interested to see where he goes in fantasy drafts this next year. He's a possession receiver. He's got speed. And again, the Tampa Bay, I like to pick on defenses that struggle in certain areas, and this is an area that Tampa Bay has struggled all year. But we have to save some money, and so we're going to do that by going down to the 6,000s and go to a guy who's really been the number one receiver last few weeks, partly because his counterpart's been out. That's Brandon Ayuk. I really think, if you want to scroll down a little bit, I really think that kind of similar to the way that Purdy likes Kittle, he looks to Ayuk as the guy he goes to on an obvious slant passing down. We saw it the last couple of weeks. It was actually really frustrating against the Raiders as I watched that game, which is the game that obviously he produced the most. But look what he's done the last 3 weeks in terms of yardage, in terms of targets. He is really moved up since Purdy has discovered him. Part of this is Debo being out. Debo looks like he's going to play. So the other part of this is wanting to save some dollars. There are a couple other options. Eric, I don't know if you had a chance to look at some of the other options down in this dollar range. We just cannot spend anything more. No one else really, maybe save Zay Jones. We don't know how healthy Debo is. We see the connection between Purdy and Ayuk. To me, this is my favorite choice at this price. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
You identified Zay Jones. I'm a big fan of Isaiah Hodgins. He's someone that has come on for the New York Giants, and in a game script of being in a dome against Minnesota's terrible pass ranking defense. I kind of like him. The Brandon Ayuk is someone who's a little bit more proven, and I expected to roll up some points. My concern, whether it will be, is there's so many weapons on that San Francisco team. to score with. You identified Debo and Kittle and of course McCaffrey, but I let people choose which route they want to go.
Yeah, and if you go to that Hodgins route or even the Zay Jones route, it gives you a chance to save a couple extra dollars and use them. Maybe if you want to go with Chase over Diggs, or you're going to see at our defensive spot, there's some room for upgrade there. Eric, where do you want to go with tight end?
Before I saw the salary, Michael, I thought, you know what? I think George Kittle is a sneaky, really good play because he has such an incredible rapport with Purdy, especially around the goal line. And then I saw they priced him at $7,700. We cannot. I am not going to put that much money into George Kittle. I'm just not going to do it. Look over the last 2 weeks. It's been the touchdowns. He hasn't been getting the yardage. So no thanks. I'm going to pass on Kittle and save over exactly $2,000 to get Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram has had big games, and I think this game's going to be a really competitive game and a high-scoring game against the LA Chargers. It's not just me. The lines makers have this as one of the highest-scoring games of the week. And he's had a great year, Michael. Career best in receiving receptions and receiving yards. Besides Christian Kirk, he and Zay Jones really are that second option that the Jaguars looked for in the passing game.
I really like the savings here. It's what's allowed us to get Eckler and some of these top receivers in the lineup. And I know you want to do something similar at the quarterback spot, Eric. But before we go there, what do you want to say?
Well, what I'd like to do is let's let our fans know, in honor of Subscriber Appreciation Week, how they can enter a free-to-enter contest to win $50. Michael's going to be in it. I'm going to be in it. We want you guys to be in it. The next 98 people. So don't delay. How do you do it? It's very simple. First, log into FanDuel in your FanDuel account. Second, type in this address, which is at the bottom of your screen. It's https://bit.ly, which is bit.ly/ the number 3, the letter I, capital I as in igloo, CR, capital X, X is in X-ray, U as in unicorn, and capital R as in rhinoceros. So make sure that you enter that in. Now, you may be saying, well, how come you didn't include the link so we can just click on it? You know what? YouTube has been on our back about actually having links to gambling sites, and they've sanctioned us before about it. We don't want that to happen now. Let's actually show us what we thought of YouTube doing that to us. All right. Anyway, let's get back into it. Okay, Michael, there are 6 games. Easy math tells you there are 12 starting quarterbacks. Can you believe Mr. GOAT, Mr. Greatest of all time, is actually the cheapest of all quarterbacks at $6,800? That is ridiculous. I'm a big Seahawk fan, but that he's cheaper than Geno Smith against a tough Niner defense in a wet weather in San Francisco, and Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy in that same game. I don't get it. I'm going to take the savings and take Tom Brady. Look, I get it, folks. I do know that Brady is getting up there in age, and he certainly has not been as good as he has been in the past. But he's got clear weapons with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin at wide receiver and Leonard Fournette out of the backfield. I'm comfortable if you want playoff experience, looking at all the quarterbacks. Basically, no one except maybe Joe Burrow has more than, I think, one playoff win than Tom Brady, Michael.
Yeah, Brady was my fantasy quarterback this year, so he frustrated me kind of throughout. And even with all that, this is actually probably my favorite pick of our lineup because of his price, because of this game script and how it's going to require him to throw the ball, because of what he was able to do a couple of weeks ago when he was in a similar situation and making sure they got the win, or what he's done at the end of the several games. He actually had the second most passing yards this season, folks. Don't forget that. Yeah, he's not what he used to be, but this is just straight disrespect. This is a great price tag. Yeah, he's not going to produce probably like Josh Allen will or Joe Burrow will, but he's so much less expensive. This is, I think, an easy pick.
We're going to go cheap on a defense. So our flex, we can afford a guy who I just mentioned at $6,400. No, it's not Isaiah Hodgins. It is Leonard Fournette. I think he got a much needed rest last week. And I think he's going to come a lot fresher. I know they have Rachaad White. I know that. Rachaad White will get some carries. But come playoffs, I am very confident they're going to lean on the veteran Leonard Fournette, definitely in the passing game and also around the goal line. So for a bargain on FanDuel of only $6,400, give me Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, completely agree with this pick. Again, this game script is nice for Fournette, who really gets involved when the game is on the line. And I think this is a playoff game, so the game is on the line from the get-go. I bet you he is more involved than he's been even in carries early on in this game. I think the rest was huge. Really like this price tag.
All right, so that does not leave us much. And you know what? I'm going to let the viewers decide what defense we are going to pick up. Okay, all right. It's Miami. Michael, this is obviously a punt defense. But if you take a look at the options, I'm not that excited about the Seahawks either at $100 more. It's not until you're willing to spend $400 more that you get a defense that I even feel slightly comfortable with the Baltimore Ravens. Any comments about Miami that doesn't include that they are cheap?
They got Chubb, Bradley Chubb from Cleveland, who, improved things for them a bit. They had a really weak beginning of the season. I think, the pivot that you mentioned at the wide receiver spot might make it possible to get the Ravens, but I also think Cincinnati is a similarly tough offense right now. So, there's a punt, and you got to do that to get some of these guys in there.
And honestly, I think if this was a different draw, Miami would be a lot more expensive. It's just we're playing Buffalo and they're big underdogs, but almost 2.5 sacks a game is mid-range. This is not a bad defense in Miami. It's the matchup is the reason that we get the bargain basement price. Michael, this has been another great year. Thanks so much for doing it. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks to all of our subscribers. Hope you guys get a chance to participate in our contest, and we'll see you soon.
Yes, and what we will do is we're going to be taking the next couple of weeks off during the playoffs, but we will be back for the Super Bowl, where we'll take a look at all the Super Bowl props and, of course, the Super Bowl line and our predictions. Thanks so much, everybody. We really appreciate you guys. If you're not a subscriber yet, smash that subscriber button and join the contest. Until we see you for the Super Bowl, take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Both of our videos that I talked about for Wildcard Week are on the screen now.